definitely sweating good. I have a sweatband on because I sweat pretty good when I work out, and I also have a towel with me so that I can kind of wipe off my eyebrows so that my sunglasses don't get all dirty from my sweat. But it is a muggy one out here today. It's so tempting to run, but I know I've done a lot of walking this weekend, so did some treadmill stuff yesterday, and the last 3 days I think I did 3 miles on the treadmill with a lot of inclines, just veering up and down. So probably should just walk, but the runner in me wants to run. I recently recorded a video at one of our cemeteries here in Council Bluffs. Cemeteries, by the way, are a really great place to walk. It's just very peaceful, very quiet. You don't really have to worry about too much traffic. And, you know, of course, I'm very respectful. Wouldn't want to interrupt any services that might be happening, so I would steer clear of that if anything like that were happening during a walk. But like I said earlier in my video, I really try hard to pick times of the day where I think, and based on my past experiences at these locations, like I try to avoid the peak times where a lot of people will be out there exploring and walking. So, but yeah, anyways, I did a video at one of the cemeteries here last weekend, and I tried out jogging with my Insta360 cam, which is what I'm using right now, and I haven't edited that yet, but I'm curious to see how it turns out. I hope it turns out good. I know that I'm going to be breathing heavier because I'm running, and it's what happens when you run. So we'll have to see what that sounds like. I am excited to see what that video looks like, so that'll be coming to my channel soon. Probably, I bet, before I get this one released. Try to put them out in order of when I recorded them, if possible. The other thing I feature on my channel, which I have a few different things. My channel focuses on rides, drives, and walks, as well as an occasional cryptocurrency lesson. Now, the cryptocurrency lessons, I probably won't have too many of those. I honestly started those so that the other investigators on my team could understand how certain things work, how money can be moved in cryptocurrency, that kind of thing. And I mean, it also helps anybody that's never used it before, so it helps a blend of different people. But I also do drives in my Jeep, so just quiet drives around town for the most part, just something to put on to relax and, I don't know, maybe put your baby to sleep or put you to sleep, or just kind of reminisce if you don't live here anymore and you enjoy seeing some of the places that bring some nostalgia. I don't know, lots of different reasons, I'm sure. But the other type of activity that I've been sharing is rides. And now the rides, I have two different ways to share. So I have cycling. So like I've done some bicycling around town and on the Wabash. And the other one is just motorcycling. So I do have a motorcycle. I've been riding since 2007. Yeah, I just sure. Thank you. Just share a little bit of that. So I always appreciate, by the way, when people say on your left or ding a bell, just so that it's not a complete surprise. Some people's bikes are really quiet, and so respectfully I try to do the same. But anyways, yeah, so next week I've got a three-part series just of motorcycling around town in the month of June on some of my favorite roads. And they're my favorite roads mostly because they're a little bit quieter, a little prettier, a little less city-like. So you'll probably see lots of green, some lost hills, and I don't know, it's just a peaceful adventure. So that's really what my channel is about, sharing peaceful adventures. I'm not here to fight with anybody in comments or anything like that. You know, you don't have to watch my videos if you don't like them. Totally fine. My content is clearly not for everyone, and that's okay. So I've got, like I said, the 3-part motorcycling series coming out next week, which by the time this video is released, those will already be out. But they're scheduled already as upcoming videos on my channel. So I'm also trying, when I do schedule videos to come out like that, you can go to my channel and see ahead of time what's scheduled to come out. It'll say upcoming, and it'll have a date and time. I've also been kind of experimenting with times of the day, and I'll probably try experimenting with days of the week too, but right now I've been trying to be consistently putting out some form of a full video on my YouTube channel, usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That way it gives everyone, you know, a couple days to watch whatever it is I put out, kind of catch up on it if they're interested. And when I'm not spitting out a bunch of stuff every single day for no reason. But another thing I've been trying to do is just share more shorts or more reels. That's something I really didn't do too much recently, so it takes a little bit more work to edit those and get those out and post them and schedule that. But you know, I definitely want to reach as many people as I can, so I'm going to put a little bit more effort and focus into that as well. One thing I recently did was I already had an Instagram account and I had my YouTube channel, so those were the only 2 platforms I was using. But I recently created a Facebook page and a TikTok page or TikTok account. So now I think I've got an audience in many different social media platforms, so hopefully if this is the kind of content that you like, that you'll find me one way or another. And maybe for some people too, social media reels is the way to go. Maybe they don't really want to see these long videos. They prefer the short little snips, the little reels. It's totally fine too. But I thought, honestly, this would be really cool, so that, like, here in Council Bluffs, Iowa, our winters can be pretty harsh and cold and wet and snowy. So I thought it'd be kind of nice to just have some of these videos so that when I'm on the treadmill or my fellow viewers are on the treadmill, maybe they want to walk the Manawa Trail and maybe they don't want to see all the snow and be cold bundled up. You could be on your treadmill and you can see the sunshine. It's artificial sunlight straight from your device. So you know, so yeah, this is the Lake Manawa Trail in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and it's probably one of my favorites. It's just really pretty, and the trail connects to technically it connects to like the Wabash if you just keep going a different direction. And then keep going this direction, you can kind of connect to the trail system that you could go past, like the soccer complex, the baseball diamonds over by Twin City, and it kind of takes you around by Ameristar and Harrah's and the pedestrian bridge. Then you can go into Omaha, or you could go keep going the Iowa side and skip the pedestrian bridge, and then you could end up like at Nash Boulevard and Big Lake. So lots of different things you could do. This also, that same trail can also take you kind of down by, I think it's like the marketplace, kind of behind there. So trying to remember the street names. I'm not getting those street names right now, but if you know the area, this same trail, instead of taking the left to go towards like the South Omaha Bridge Road, you can actually just go straight, and that'll take you towards, like, if you're familiar with where the old animal shelter used to be years and years ago, that one, you kind of pass that area, and it kind of brings you towards, like, is that 21st Ave? Kind of pass under that, kind of by like Cattleman Pool and Jonesy's Taco House. And yeah, I mean, our trail systems are pretty good here. I'm not mad about it. And then that First Ave trail is not too bad either. I did do a couple videos walking on the First Ave trail as well as cycling, so you can definitely check those out if you like that, as well as the pedestrian bridge. So I've been trying to cover, you know, like some of my favorite places, which those are. I've also got a couple videos for Fairmount Park, both sides. So if you're familiar with that area, there's like two different hills that you can go up, and I capture them with different cameras. So my most recent one's going to be the better quality, and different times of the year, so they look a little different based on the landscape. But yeah, I did Lewis and Clark Monument, Big Lake, Kern Track. I like Kern Track. It's kind of a nice, kind of quiet area usually. Granted, I usually frequent that in the earlier part of the day, like when, you know, between like 9 and 10 a.m. And so probably depends on the time of day. But that's a cool track. That's a cinder track if you've never been on one. So I'll plan to visit more local spots, probably venture out more into like the Omaha area, but just doing what I can for now, because like I said, I have a full-time job, so this is just for fun. And I'm already going to be out here doing this stuff anyway, so I figured might as well capture some of it and share it with my audience. So the other thing to note on YouTube, if you want to make sure you're watching my content, my videos in the highest quality, you'll want to just check on that little gear icon, and that's your settings. And that settings, you can actually go to like your video quality playback, and you'll just want to select the highest quality that your device allows. So just something to note, because there have been times where I've peeked at my own videos and I'm like, hey, that doesn't look like the kind of quality that I selected, but it's just because whatever device I'm viewing it from, it just happens to say, well, it was set to a different quality. So we'll walk down here. There's also behind me, I'm gonna just swing this around, there's this little thing which I captured again at a different time of the year on this trail. So I'm gonna just go over here and get out of their way in case they come this way.
But if you stop.
Okay, so I'm just going to one of my videos so I can just verify for you the quality. Kind of just peek down here because it's a beautiful view. So let's see. So the quality is what you go to once you get to that little gear icon, and you can select higher picture quality, which uses more data, or auto, which is recommended, which gives you the best experience for your conditions. But essentially, if you just do higher picture quality, you should be able to select advanced. So when you select advanced, it's just one of the options down there. 2160p, that is the best quality that you'll be able to view. So 2160p if you've got it, otherwise whatever is the highest below that, that way you're getting the best 4K type of experience. So anyways, yeah, we're just gonna walk down here. It's kind of nice over here because it's shaded, and that trail I was just on a second ago is very sunny, so definitely sweating. Wiping the sweat away from my eyes as we speak. And I love trails like this, like Lewis and Clark and Fairmont Park. They have a few spots that you can walk that's very similar feel, like a dirt path in the middle of the woods. So right ahead of us there is the lake. So Boy Scout Island is pretty close to us. But yeah, so Boy Scout Island's over there, and it's the lake. Lots of people enjoying the boat today. So yeah, this is kind of just what it looks like from the road. It's a beautiful drive too if you just like to go for a drive. And anyways, the only thing I dislike about trails like this, sometimes the bugs can get really bad and they can be really thick, so then like you're constantly swatting bugs from your face, which isn't the case yet, so that's good. Got lots of little furry dandelion pieces in the air right now. The other thing I dislike, I mean, I know they're not really dangerous in this area, but they usually just come out of nowhere. I'm not a fan of the danger noodles or the nope ropes, commonly known as snakes. So luckily most of the trails I go on tend to be free of them, so hopefully they stay that way. Not that we have anything super dangerous over here, it's mostly just garter snakes, bull snakes, corn snakes, that kind of thing. Alright, well, let's take a look at this at a different time of year. Last time I did this, none of this was here. So just coming around, and yeah, honestly just come back here just to explore. And then down here, that pink chair has been there for a while because it was there last time, and I think that's where Pennywise lives, if you're familiar with Pennywise and Stephen King's It. So we'll say, hey Pennywise. I do love scary movies, so it's another thing about me. I just collect like horror movie memorabilia. So my office at home that I work from, it's pretty much filled with scary movie stuff. So I've got like the Monsters, anything that Stephen King did, Children of the Corn, It, The Shining is my favorite. Ultimate favorite is The Shining. I don't think you could do it better. And surprises me that Stephen King wasn't pleased with how Stanley Kubrick did that. And so like that's why, if you know, there's actually a The Shining mini-series as well that came out later in the 90s, and that one he had a little bit more say with how it was brought to life. But yeah, definitely my favorite. But yeah, I love spooky, scary movies.